Welcome back. Another wonderful day of Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to make this today. And I don't mean the statue, and I don't mean this 3D neon text. I mean the actual little drawings here with these waves. But the biggest thing with these waves is they have a gradient built into them. Kind of a 3D gradient. As you turns, as it twists, you can see it changes the actual colors. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Photoshop because it's a really fun thing to do, especially when you're using the brushes, and it's not that hard. Now, to use this kind of stuff, you might want to get some resources firsthand. I'm going to put these online in the description below. You can download them from this Google Dropbox or this Google file here. Here's the statue I used in this photo here. And I also have some extra stuff. The most important thing that I use today is this Proteus Neon library, which I took from this Vaporwave color scheme here, and I added one more color to it. If you look over here in my library, you can see there's a yellow here. So these colors are the same colors as this Vaporwave color right here, and you can find that all by downloading this Proteus Neon library, going into your library folder. If you don't know where that is, you can probably find it in the Windows. Go down to library, and then this pops up if it's not there already. And right here on this little tab, it might be a bit different on Mac, but this is PC. You can find this, which is the import library, where you'll just find the actual file, and then it gives you a little dialog box inside here to import it. And you will have the exact same colors I use, so you can copy exactly what I did. So let's get started. I'm going to load this into a brand new document because I'm going to show you right from scratch. So I take this file, open it up, and first I want this to be a lot wider, so I'm going to go image, canvas size, not image, percent. You can do pixels if you really want, but I'm going to do percent. The height is fine the way it is. I want 200% width. And now it is all moved around with my layers, and I create an extra layer here. This, I might drag it over just a bit. Let me just actually select it and drag it over to about here. And you can see it's kind of in the same place. Now with the color stuff, what I did with this statue, just quickly, is I added a photo filter where I put some different colors on top of it. First, I think I did some cyan, and then I did some other ones, which was one more photo filter with some possible reds, I believe. And that's there as well. So now I have two on top of that. Give it a little bit of color because it's a white and black statue image. I brought down the lights and especially brought down the shadows with the curves, giving it a lot more depth. And then what I did is I went over to hue and saturation, and I really messed around with this, and I added a whole bunch of saturation, added some hue, and just messed around until I had some good colors that I liked, and possibly a little bit lighter, maybe about 4 points lighter. And make sure this little tab here is clicked that way in case you have extra layers added below it. This arrow here, which this one is not, I can see already. This little arrow here tells you that whatever the layer is below, these adjustment layers will be the only one affected. If that arrow is not there, if you have, let me go back, my computer is frozen. Over here, there we go. If this is selected like this, and you don't see an arrow, then it will affect all the layers below. So let's change all those back, and we have it just to the layer below, and bam, it's done. So now we have a little bit of a neon 80s style vaporwave, if you want to call it, statue. Next, I'm going to add a background, so I'm going to put a new layer and drag it below. I don't want it to be attached. I'm going to go to my colors, go down to black, nice deep rich black, go to a square here. If you don't know how to square, right under the arrow key and the text, you have some kind of shape. Hold down or right click. If you hold down, it pops up. Go to rectangle, somewhere around the edge, so somewhere around the other edge, and you get a black square. And oh, I don't even need the extra layer. Sometimes you forget these things that Photoshop does, especially going back and forth between Illustrator and Photoshop. Well, that's good. I'm happy with that. This, I can lock it if I really want to, or I can just take all these layers here, including my adjustments, and I can merge them into one, and I have one nice, pretty little neon-ish, reddish statue. Not the same color as this one, obviously. A lot more adjustments in this one, That's the way it is. Next, I'm going to go to my text tool. I'm going to create some text here. Let's just call it 3D neon, and that is so small, and it's also black, so let's make it something so I can see it. And I'm kind of obsessed with this one new font that one of my students showed me, and it is called, let me pull it up again, apply it, 3D Laser, I believe, under character. Yeah, Laser 84 is the font if you want to download it. If you don't know what that is, you can use any font you want. It doesn't really matter. So what I'm going to do now is click on that font, make sure it's on the right layer here. I'm going to go to Libraries, choose one of the colors. It will change automatically to that. Next, I'm going to take this and I'm going to hold the Alt key and Option key on Mac, drag up on the layer to create a brand new copy, drag it down. It's the same size. 3D neon, what did I say? Brush, what did I say last time? Gradient, that's fine. Gradient. And this might be a bit smaller, so if I hit Command or Control T for Mac and Windows on the right layer, then I can actually, if it lets me, there we go. Why is it not working? Gradient. Control T, there we go. I'm hitting the Windows button by accident here. A little bit smaller, just for a little bit of context. Line it up with that, and that way that's lined up and this is lined up with the statue. You're always looking for these lines of symmetry in anything you do all the time. It's really important, and I will always make sure that that is symmetrical in some kind of way. Our eyeballs just love symmetry. People gravitate towards it. Let's make it yellow. How about that? And let's make the top one purple. No, pink. Done. All right. Next, here's the most important part. There's a few steps here. First, I'm going to save this document. Let's go, I don't want to give this one to you, so let's just call it 3D brush feature. Bad spelling. Just in case, you should always save. Now, watch this. This is really fun. Go to your brush tool, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-ish down. Make sure you're not on a mixer brush or anything else. Make sure on the actual brush. You are going to go to your top tab here to change the size of the brush. I'll show you a trick in a second. Put the hardness to, let's say, 40-something%. You don't need very much. Go to a brand new layer way at the very top, and now when you drag and draw, it should do this, and it shouldn't affect the other layers at all. I might want to actually bring that down even more to 20-ish%. We're also going to add a blur in a second, and I'll show you why, because this will be our color guide. So first, you're going to go through all the colors in here, or your own set of colors, whatever colors you want. 2 colors, 3 colors, 100 colors, up to you. I'm going to start with the purple. I'm going to draw a little line here and maybe a little curve just to give us some direction, because you'll see in a second what I mean by giving us some options and direction. Put the blue up here and maybe come down through the purple and out here. Next, go to pink. Put some pink in here and then some pink over here. I'm just adding different options because what I'm doing is I'm creating a gradient guide, and wherever I select on here will make a brand new gradient, and all these different directions and combinations of colors make new types of gradients. That light blue and maybe some blue on blue with some purple. Now we get some darker blue. There's a lot of blue in this. And then I'm going to add the yellow. This yellow was not part of that original color scheme here. I added it. I thought we needed some brightness. I want some yellow and pink. There we go. That's a good mix. All right. Now I have my color guide. I'm going to add a brand new layer below it because we'll be working on that layer next. So once this is all set, save it up. Go back to your brush tool. And this is where the best brush, my favorite brush, comes in, the mixer brush. People don't really use this brush very much. It's an amazing tool. It has so many options, especially up here with these tabs that depend on each other. This is kind of like painting in real life, where you actually you can control if you have enough paint on your brush where if you stroke across the screen, your brush runs out of paint. So you get that sort of drying look as it comes out as you finish off your stroke. So right now we're going to choose probably dry is fine. We don't need any wetness with anything else. And we're going to clean off our brush here. This is really important. This is why you got to think of it as a real life paintbrush. So clean it off. I'm going to go over here. Hard round is fine. I'm going to put it about 94%. And before I do that, I actually forgot to do one thing. Make sure you're on that top layer. We're going to go to filter, my fault, and go to Gaussian blur, the most famous and most used blur of all the blurs. I'm going to put it at least halfway. You want this all to be smudged as much as you can. See, the thing is, the gradient will look very, very harsh the less of a blur you have. The more of a blur, it becomes super smooth, the gradient. So it's up to you. I'm going to go 101 pixels. This is based off of the size of the image, which I don't know what it is right now. And next, I'm going to go back to my layers. Actually, stay on the top layer. On my brush, I'm going to clean the brush. Now, when you bring it down, you can see the brushes here. If I draw, it doesn't do anything because there's technically nothing there. Shouldn't be anything there. Now, if I hold the Alt button, I think it's Option on Mac, Option Alt, it changes to this little crosshairs. Now, watch up here. Right now, there's nothing. It has that grid of nothing. This is like a black hole in the computer world. If you see this kind of grid with gray and white, it's an automatic tell that there is nothing there, because you can't show nothing with nothing on a computer. You have to show something. So they made this, and this is like the black hole of computers. If you see this, nothing exists. But now when I click somewhere, let's say pink and blue and yellow right in the middle here, I get this lovely mix. And you can move around and hold Alt Option while you do this, and you can change your gradients. So now you're creating new gradients, and if you want to try different colors, go ahead and do that, or just work with me right now and do that later. Let's go back here. I'm going to keep that one. Now, here we go to our layers, and I'm going to do this layer. I'm going to get rid of our new color gradient layer. Now watch this. Let me just change my brush size just a bit. That's 200 is a good brush size, around there. I'm going to drag across the screen, and you're going to see that. Command Control Z. So whatever I draw, I'm running out of, let's go dry, heavy load, make sure I have enough paint on my brush here. So as you go, you can see, let me zoom in here, it looks like an actual 3D object with the top and the curve where the bottom of this has this yellow to it. It's amazing how it just intuitively does this. I know it's not intuitive. Computer coding is difficult. It takes a long time to work out these kind of things, but it's amazing. Now, one thing you might notice is that if your hardness is at 100%, you will get a lot of these ridges. If you want those ridges, go ahead, but it's kind of like it's stamping itself many, many, many times as you roll around here. So to smooth out those ridges, two options. This, I don't think it does very much, but I think it should do something. Smoothing for the stroke right here, I put it to 100%. I don't really notice much of a difference otherwise, but I'm going to bring it down just about 95-ish, maybe 96% hardness. And that gives it just a little bit of a smoothness to it. Might even do it a little bit more. And another trick to do is with your brush open, if you hold the Alt Option key, it will go to that target. Now, right click on your mouse, and this pops up. It might be a bit different on Mac, on Apple, but this. Now, the direction you go is important. If I go left and right, it'll change the size of my brush. I can make a massive brush or a very, very tiny brush. Alt, right click, and then drag right and left. Let go. Now my brush is this size. Go here, now it's this size. So you see what happens? Now the other option is Alt, same thing, Alt Option, right click, go up and down, and the hardness percentage, watch that percentage change. So now I can change the hardness, which you can see feathers the outside, makes it blend as it goes on into the edge of the black background. And the less hardness it is, obviously it takes a bit longer to compute those colors because it has to do these almost seemingly infinite color grades to the edges. So I'm going to go back to 94-ish. That's pretty good. I don't want that. And I'm going to bring this color, this brush size down. Now let's just make this same idea. So what I'm going to do is get my brush and go around here. And I actually want to come above the neon. So maybe a smaller brush above the neon, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out, and I'll show you another trick with the eraser, and we will make this look really cool. So start over here, come down and up over the neon. Too high. I don't want to go out of frame here. Smooth movements. So this might not be what you want, but let's just try this. Let's make it a little, nope, a little bit more smooth. Nope. I'm really picky about this for some reason. Honestly, it's that thing with the whole lines of symmetry. What should we do here? We should come down the shoulder, and up and over. Just something very simple. How about that? No. There we go. That's actually a lot better. Stays in line with the text. That's good. Okay, now here's a trick I'm going to show you. You might not do this if you don't want to. This is on top of everything, and you can drag it below the layers, right? Do that kind of fun stuff. Or if, let's say I want to make it so it looks like it goes behind the statue, but I still want it over top of the text, and I don't want to copy all these texts in multiple layers and do all these little layer changes and copies and copies and copies. It just gets way too much. Here's a quick trick. If I click the layer that I want to stay the way it is, I don't want to erase, I want to erase it. So I want to erase this section here. I'm trying to explain this clearly in my head here. So what I'm doing is I'm keeping this line, and I'm going to erase it just where the statue is. Well, I can go to the statue layer, and I can get rid of this. I can outline it with this tool here. I might have shown you this before. Or I can go to the top layer here. Let's keep it up. And I'm going to hold down Control, or I think it's Command on Mac, and click on the image of that layer of the statue, and it outlines it automatically. Now here's the thing though. If the image that you're clicking on is the entire image, it will just give an outline of the entire image. Because the statue by default in the file had nothing in the background, it had that little checkered box. Technically, if I really break it down, then Photoshop knows that these are the only places where pixels exist, because that's it. So it gave me an outline. So just be aware that you have to actually have a defined object in Photoshop to do that. So now when I go to my eraser right here, if you don't have it, magic eraser possibly, but let's just go eraser. I can, same thing, Alt, right click, change the size of my eraser. It doesn't really matter right now, because watch this. If I go even massive, I do one click, it only gets rid of the part that I've highlighted. So wherever the layer I'm on, wherever that intersects with the part that I have outlined, is the only part that gets erased. So now it looks like this neon thing, this neon gradient, goes behind the statue. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit D, hit Command D, there we go. Command D removes your highlight. So if you have a highlight selection, Command D, or Control D on Windows like me. So let's go. We have this layer again. I'm going to select the gradient. I'm going to zoom in just a bit. Go back to my eraser. I'm going to make it a lot smaller. So let's see. I want this to go in front of the G and the R, because these letters are connected inside the fonts. Maybe your font has a different, maybe all the letters are separate. So G, R, A, D, and the I, and let's put the NT in front as well. So it jumps in front of the A and the D, and then it goes back behind. So now if I hit Command D, it looks like it jumps in front and comes behind. Like this GR is sitting way in front, which might not be your thing, but that's what we have right now. You can always change it. Let's do the neon part. I'm going to put the neon fully in front of it. So then it looks like it's really 3D. Look at that. That's really cool. Next, I'm going to make a new layer. Why? You can do it on the same layer. I can draw more stuff. I'm going to pick a different color set. So go back to my brush, my mixer brush, clear it, clean it out, hold down Alt, and then this pops up. What did we have before? We had purple and blue. I'm going to get more yellow in there. Let's go over here to way more yellow and a little bit of blue on the bottom. A little bit of blue. There we go. Just get different colors in here. Now I'm going to make a smaller brush, and I'm really going to mess around with this. So let's start a new layer. Put it behind that, and then we're going to go like this. Just like that. That's actually pretty neat. I like that. So here we go. Same little thing that's going to go on here. Put it in front of everything. Click on the gradient. And I don't want it here. What am I doing? That's the brush. I don't want a brush. I want the eraser. I don't want it there. And I want it behind the A and the D. And then I want it in front of that and behind here. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's too low. Let me go back. I'm just figuring this out as I go. Select this. I'm going to go down. Nope, I don't want the selection. I'm going to go down. Select. Drag it down and over just a bit. There we go. Because I want this T to be on its own. So here we go. Now I'm back and I have the eraser here. Get rid of that. I'm going to, let's see, I want that in front, but I want this behind. Yeah, that's good. There we go. That's that. Now I'm going to select the statue and let's put, this one might be a bit harder because look, I have this part here. So I'm going to make this loop out and come back down. So what we're going to do is make the brush a lot smaller and just finesse this just like that. You can see where the gradient starts. Nice and smooth. Not too pretty. There's a bit of a bump there, but I'm trying to make this quick for you. There we go. So now it comes back around. And then I'm going to go, that's fine like that for now. I might come back and look at it in a second. And 3D neon. Let's get rid of this stuff. Then it comes over the end, comes back down. No, comes over here, back through here. And then I'm going to click on here and get rid of this. Watch this. There we go. And this should come over top of here. There, that makes more sense. Command D, go back. Look at that. I have this kind of looping thing happen. It looks 3D. Ooh, down there looks ugly. That does not work. So what I would do then is, I'll leave it for now because I'm not going to spend my time figuring this stuff out. And that's basically it. And you can do whatever you want after. Different colors, obviously, different gradient. Let me show you the original one. So this is the original gradient I created. And this is the one that you just followed. Totally different. It's really, nothing will ever be the same if you do what I did and do these kind of steps, which makes it a lot of fun. You get your own kind of artistic style in here. And that's really it. So, thank you very much for watching. please subscribe, and I will post more Photoshop videos over the next little while. Stuff like this, if you want some ideas and different things you'd like to see me do and know how to do it more cleaner and in an easier way, I can probably help you out with that, make a video about it, and everyone else will benefit. So post your ideas down below. Also, anything else like Illustrator and Premiere Pro and any other Adobe software, I will have your back on that one. So let me know, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching.